rechristening the firefighter.
Oh, one more. Hey! Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tom White. I'm the captain of Marine Company 9. And on behalf of myself and the members of Marine Company 9, I'd like to thank you all for showing up today to pay tribute to the firefighters' 65 years of gallant service. We refer to the firefighter as the fighter. The firefighter is a very important piece of New York history. She's operated at numerous fires over the years, and her record stands for itself. But I look at things differently. I look at the people who made this great legend possible, for without them, this boat would be nothing but red paint and steel. At this time, I'd like to introduce our distinguished speakers. First will be Chief William Siegel, Marine Battalion Commander.
Thank you, Tommy. It's always a pleasure to be introduced as the Chief in Charge of the Marine Division in the New York City Fire Department. No celebration for the firefighter could be complete without recognizing the members of all ranks for the many years of hard work and dedication. I'd like to read just 7 such names, 7 members, 1 from each rank. Retired firefighter Joe Petramento, soon to be retired wiper Mike Zhang, retired Marine engineer Richie Soto, retired engineer and chief of the boat, Dan Redden. Dan, retired pilot, Harvey Geary. Representing the company offices, I'd like to introduce retired lieutenant. Representing the shops would be George Ratchin. No one else can represent George. And in about 3 hours, he's going to be on a cruise ship going by on his way on vacation, and he promised to wave. George was definitely the heart of the Marine shops. Now, when I first walked in the door of the Marine Division, I met a gentleman that I'm proud to call my friend. He has a long commitment with the New York City Fire Department and certainly the Marine Division, and that would be retired battalion chief and a guy I like to call friend, George Isaac. Captain White, you and your company have done an outstanding job preparing the firefighter and quarters for today's celebration. We thank you and the members of the Marine Company 9 for your efforts and your hospitality. We trust you and your company with the firefighter and look forward to the 70th. I thank you, and I thank everyone for coming today. Thank you.
Chief Salvador Casano, Chief of Operations.
Good afternoon. For a boat that's only a little older than me, she looks great, really great. I want to welcome Jessica Culhane, who performed this afternoon's rechristening. She's the granddaughter of Eleanor Grace Culhane, who was originally christened this boat in 1938. On a personal note, as a young covering lieutenant over 25 years ago, working one tour in Marine 9, having put out many fires on land, not knowing much about water fires and ship fires, we responded to a fire, and the response by the members of Marine 9 that day, probably some of them was in the audience, was truly remarkable. They took me under their wing, guided me in the right direction, and they did a great job that day.
My name is Jessica Culhane. I'm from Hudson, Massachusetts, and I rechristened the firefighter, which is a fireboat in New York City, and my grandmother had done the same thing in 1938.
We have this replica of the firefighter. We present it to the Culhane family from the members of Marine Company 9. The plaque itself is embroidered with the name of a grandmother and her name from today, from the commissioning to the recommissioning. This is for the Culhane family.
Pilot Joe Gagliardi. I've been in the Marine Division for 19 years. I've been a pilot for 8 years, assigned to Marine Company 9. To be working on the Fireboat Firefighter is even a little more prestigious. The Firefighter is the queen of the fleet. It's the biggest fireboat we have in New York City Harbor. It's one hell of a boat. It's capable of pumping 20,000 gallons a minute at 150 PSIs. When we go into pumps, I have to let the engineers know that I'm ready. I go to stop.
Okay, hi, I'm Ronnie West, and I'm the chief engineer of this vessel today. And the pilot up above in the pilot house is just ringing down to me to go into pumps. He's ringing me stop engines, which we're doing right now, not finished with engines, and I'm going to switch over and go into pumps.
Okay, now I have propulsion power. I'm ready to start pumping water. Now they're going to give me 100 pounds of pressure. To take it out of pumps, to stop the water flow, I'm going to go to stop, signal them down on telegraph. They're going to acknowledge shutting down the water. I'm going to go back to standby on port and starboard.
Okay, he wants full power. We're finished firefighting for the day.
It's a smooth boat to be on. It's diesel electric, so it's a smooth transfer of power. It's just a real pleasure to be out on this boat. Designed by the naval architects Gibbs and Cox, they're very famous naval architects. They're still around today. It was built right here in United Shipyards in Staten Island. I would say that the biggest achievement this boat had was the Gallant Ship Award that they won for the S.O. Brussels Sea Witch collision, which basically happened right in front of our berth here in Stapleton. And a container ship, the Sea Witch, was heading south towards the Verrazano Bridge. And they lost a piece on their steering gear. Apparently it was a real small, minute piece. Hit the S.O. Brussels, tore a hole in it. Both ships burst into flames. And as they burst into flames, they actually pulled their moorings up, their anchors up, and they both drifted underneath the Verrazano Bridge. And the flames were actually hitting the bottom of the bridge. And this boat went through the flaming oil, right, pretty much, I would say, right alongside the Sea Witch. And they pulled 31 crewmen that would have surely died. We heard the explosion right here. We didn't know what it was, so we just reached over and turned on the Staten Island fire radio just to see what we heard. And within seconds, all the companies that were out saw this big plume of smoke and the flames headed up in the air. Still didn't know what it was. Well, about a minute or two later, we got the response ticket. We waited here at our berth for 2 engine companies to respond for manpower. Took them on board. We came in, we initially positioned ourselves at the burning barge, and then we had to put ourselves in between the burning barge and a barge that was loaded with gasoline. If that thing went, it would have taken out the, you know, most of the operating force probably would have killed them. And the big thing was that that barge was still heated. We had to get that cooled down. That was our main concern. And floating gasoline everywhere. And every time we went up to the Brooklyn Navy Yard or up into to Lower Manhattan, we would go right past the towers. And one day they're here, the next day they're gone. Turns. One crew would watch the boat, another crew would be in searching. When that crew came out, they would relieve the boat crew would go in and search. Yeah, they did a lot. These guys, they also went and commandeered pumpers to put in, because basically with a fireboat, you can't just pump water right to the nozzle that the fireman's holding. You have to have a piece of equipment in between, a pumper to boost up the pressure. So these guys basically had to go crawling through the rubble to find rigs that were still working and drive them in between over the other hoses in the rubble to get them, you know, into the right position to get enough pressure up to where the operation was. I mean, there's a big hole in Manhattan right now. I mean, I look right out my office window and you'd see the towers every morning. They're gone now. I mean, first, when we go out with this boat, as soon as we get to the end of the pier here, you look north and, you know, there's that big noticeable hole in Manhattan. Basically, the facelift that this boat got was a crash course. It was done over the course of a few months. The guys pitched in on their own time and did this. Extensive, probably the biggest overhaul it's had in almost 40 years. A lot of these young firemen that we took on board going to Port Mobile, this boat was probably older than their parents. You know, and it's a familiar sight in the harbor. You know, you look at any picture of any fireboat, you know, this one's in it.
I'm firefighter Paul Sarubi. I'm a firefighter on board the Fireboat Firefighter. In addition to our water pumping capabilities, one of our biggest firefighting tools is the use of the foam concentrate that we have right here. We store about 2,000 gallons that we're able to move around the boat with the use of these hose lines that we have stored here. These hose lines, in conjunction with these manifolds, gives us the capability of putting a coat of foam on any kind of oil fire. We're able to put the foam inside a ship, so this way we're not going to sink a ship during a ship fire, or even have the capabilities of pumping it up onto land if we have to. In here we store our personal firefighting gear. It's a Nomax material bunker gear. It enables us to stand higher temperatures for longer periods of time. In this compartment, we store our self-contained breathing apparatus. These are 45-minute bottles, which enable us 45 minutes of working time inside a fire. This is one of the more important rooms on the boat. This is called our gold room. This is where all our fittings are kept. Without these fittings, we wouldn't be able to get our hose lines into operations. Besides the fittings, we have all our hose nozzles here and many other forms of apparatus used in firefighting.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Don Pantina. I'm one of the chief engineers on the Firefighter. And I'm going to give you a little tour of the engine room, and then you can take a look at the equipment and see what she has to offer. How you doing? Welcome to the engine room of the Fighter. In the engine room, you see we have 2 diesel engines, 16-cylinder Clevelands, 1,500 horsepower apiece. Each engine drives or works on a common shaft, drives 3 generators. We have a 900 kW generator,
This is the best boat of all the boats. You know, it's the Rolls Royce of fireboats. That's, you know, diesel electric. You know, when they built it in 1938, it was top of the line. Yeah, even in today's standards, diesel electric is the best type of boat to drive. Pumps 20,000 gallons per minute. At one time, it was the largest capacity fireboat in the world. I mean, 20,000 gallons per minute, that's filling up an average swimming pool in less than a minute. I always tell people in the blink of an eye, right? And then the other thing we tell people down here, we don't put fires out, we knock them down. I'll ring up on my controls, I'll go to stop, and then the engineers rings me back on my telegraph, he goes to stop. Then that means I have limited propulsion, and then when I want water, I ring my telegraph that has water, and the water begins. And when we're finished, I ring him back and he shuts it down. And then we switch back to standby and he switches it back. That is a little bit complicated when you have to make sure. With the fighter, you have to make sure you're in a good position, that the current or the wind's not pushing you close to any objects, because there's a big delay in there. And also, you're very limited propulsion. You don't get full power in your propellers when you're pumping water. You just barely have enough to hold your position and maneuver. It's just incredible, the machinery and the expertise that went into building it, and the quality that they used. There's so much brass hardware on the boat, brass and stainless steel. Just the construction, it's just such precision. Everything's precisionally made. You could see it because it lasted this long, and you could tell that no money was spared at that time. $1 million in 1938, that was a lot of money. So that's why it's still sitting here. That, and also the dedication of all the crews that have served on it throughout the years, especially the engineering department.